Hey guys, it's Hollywood Studios here and welcome back to another video. In today's video, we'll be taking a look at each Six Flags park across the Six Flags chain and what you guys believe is the best coaster at each of the Six Flags parks. Over the past couple weeks, I had polls running on my YouTube community page where you could vote for which coaster you believe was the best one at each Six Flags park, and in this video I have gathered the results of those polls, put them all together in one big video, and for the parks that I have been to, I will give a slight opinion on if I agree or disagree with what you guys picked. However, I have not been to each and every Six Flags park. I want to make it clear that I'm not making picks based off opinions that can't be formed yet, because some of these rides I have not ridden, but you guys have, and you guys were able to form this list, this collection of which coasters are the best in the Six Flags chain at each park. We're going to go from the eastern part of the United States all the way out to the west, including the Mexico and Canadian parks. So let's start off with Six Flags New England. Six Flags New England is in Agawam, Massachusetts, and is home to a great collection of thrill rides. What you guys picked as the best coaster at Six Flags New England is Wicked Cyclone. This is an RMC coaster that was a conversion of the former Cyclone roller coaster, which was a wooden coaster, and they have now converted it into an RMC hybrid packed full of awesome airtime moments, inversions, and overall a really great ride. I personally have been to Six Flags New England, and I definitely agree that Wicked Cyclone is the best coaster at the park. Second place, though, was Superman the Ride, a really great Intamin hyper coaster. Moving on, we have Great Escape in Lake George, New York, just outside of Lake George, and you guys picked Comet as the best coaster at Great Escape. This is a relocated wooden coaster that has a really great reputation as a fun, classic ride with great airtime moments and overall a really enjoyable ride experience. Personally, I have yet to visit Six Flags Great Escape, so I can't form an opinion on this quite yet, but you guys voted Comet as the best coaster at Great Escape. Second place is Alpine Bobsled, a bobsled coaster that used to be at Six Flags Great Adventure. Next up, we have Six Flags' only Canadian park, which is La Ronde up in Montreal, Canada. You guys picked Goliath as the best coaster at La Ronde. Goliath is one of many coasters with this name. However, this one is a smaller scale B&M hypercoaster. It isn't actually a B&M hypercoaster as it doesn't measure 200 feet, but it has the same sort of train and ride design, and from what I've been told, it is a great ride packed full of awesome airtime moments. This ride really is focused on airtime, as almost every element on the ride is an airtime hill. It has a great turnaround and then comes back for more airtime moments. Personally, I have yet to visit La Ronde, but Goliath looks like a really fun ride. Second place is Vampire, a Batman clone B&M inverted coaster that can be found across numerous parks in the chain. Next up is Six Flags Darien Lake up near Buffalo, New York. This is a park that was formerly owned by Six Flags, then sold, and then reacquired by Six Flags. So Six Flags does currently operate Darien Lake, and you guys believe that the best coaster at Darien Lake is Ride of Steel. This ride opened with the Superman theme, but it was dropped once Six Flags sold the park, and they still have not returned it to the ride. However, Ride of Steel is a great Intamin hyper coaster. It is a mirror image of the one at Six Flags America, which we will talk about later. Features great airtime moments, both floater and ejector, and is well known for its straight track over the lake, as well as its two huge helixes that are very spread out and very fun. Personally, I have yet to visit Darien Lake, but I have ridden the sister coaster to Ride of Steel, and it's a very fun ride. Second place at Darien Lake is Tantrum, a Gerstlauer Eurofighter. Moving on, we have Six Flags Great Adventure in Jackson, New Jersey. Great Adventure is well known as one of the greatest amusement parks in all of the United States and is packed full of really great coasters. You guys picked that the best coaster at Six Flags Great Adventure is El Toro. El Toro is a legendary Intamin prefabricated wooden coaster. Prefabricated meaning the wood is designed differently than most wooden coasters, as the track is prefabricated as opposed to being assembled on site. El Toro has a reputation of having some of the greatest ejector airtime moments in the world, as well as providing a really unique wooden coaster experience. This ride constantly ranks in one of the top polls for both Golden Ticket Awards as well as many other polls, and is well known as one of the greatest coasters in the country. Second place is a tie between Nitro, the B&M hypercoaster, and King Ka, the Intamin Strata coaster, the world's tallest roller coaster. Next up, we have Six Flags America, just outside of Washington, D.C. in Maryland. You guys picked the best coaster at Six Flags America to be Superman Ride of Steel. Much like Ride of Steel at Darien Lake, this ride is a mirror image of that ride, so it's very similar. Has some great ejector and floater airtime moments, has a really cool setting, has those two big helixes, and I personally have visited Six Flags America, and I definitely agree with this. Second place goes to Batwing, a Vekoma Flying Dutchman coaster. Next up is Six Flags Over Georgia in Atlanta, Georgia, and you guys picked the best coaster at the park to be Goliath, a B&M Hyper coaster. This easily is one of the best coasters out there, delivering some incredible ejector and floater airtime moments. I have visited Six Flags Over Georgia, and I definitely agree with this pick. Goliath is one of the most well-rounded coasters out there, featuring a great combination of ejector moments, floater moments, and positive G-forces. This ride has a great layout and overall is a really awesome ride. Second place is Twisted Cyclone, an RMC hybrid coaster. Next up is Six Flags Great America in Gurnee, Illinois, and you guys picked the best coaster at Six Flags Great America to be Goliath, the RMC Topper Track wooden coaster. This ride is very unique as it's not like much of the other RMC coasters. It's a little on the shorter side, but it has more of a focus on inversions with that giant 0G stall as well as the dive loop. It also has an overbank turn element twice to turn the ride around and has a really huge, awesome drop as well as some great airtime moments. Second place is Raging Bull, a B&M Hyper coaster. Next up we have Six Flags St. Louis just outside of St. Louis, Missouri. And you guys picked the best coaster at Six Flags St. Louis to be Mr. Freeze Reverse Blast. Mr. Freeze is a very unique coaster that only has one other clone, built by Premier Rides. It is a shuttle coaster, and this one in particular runs backwards, meaning the trains will launch backwards out of the station, fly up into a upside down top hat, where you experience awesome G-forces of hang time. Then you fly through an overbank turn and head up the spike where you are actually launched vertically while facing backwards. It's one of the coolest moments on any coaster, and then you get to go through the whole thing forwards. Mr. Freeze is easily one of the most intense and most unique coasters out there, and second place is a tie between American Thunder, a GCI wooden coaster, and The Boss, a CCI wooden coaster. Next up is Frontier City. This is one of the more unique Six Flags parks as it's a lot smaller than the others but focuses more on its great theming, and you guys picked the best coaster at Frontier City to be Diamondback. This is one of the older coasters out there. It is a very unique model as you can't find this model many places around the world anymore. It is an Aero shuttle loop coaster. This actually used to operate at Six Flags Great Adventure as one of the halves of Lightning Loops. You launch, go down a drop, through a vertical loop, head up, and launch backwards again through the whole thing. It's a very fun ride with very unique forces, and I personally would definitely agree with this ranking as I have visited Frontier City. Second place is Silver Bullet, a Schwarzkopf looping coaster. Next is Six Flags Over Texas, the original Six Flags park, chock full of a bunch of great rides. You guys picked the best coaster at Six Flags Over Texas to be New Texas Giant, an RMC hybrid coaster. This coaster was the first project taken on by RMC as their own coaster. It originally operated as the Texas Giant, a large wooden coaster, and RMC came in and rehabbed it and changed the layout to become New Texas Giant. This ride definitely shows that it's one of the early coasters by RMC, but still has some great moments of ejector and floater airtime, as well as having a really fun, strong, long layout and a smooth track. Second place is Mr. Freeze. Next up is the other Texas park owned by Six Flags Fiesta Texas. This park is well known as being one of the nicest Six Flags parks, set in a really unique location and having a really great selection of roller coasters. You guys picked the best coaster at Six Flags Fiesta Texas to be Iron Rattler, an RMC hybrid coaster. Coming off the heels of New Texas Giant, Six Flags was ready to invest more RMCs into the chain, and Iron Rattler was the second of these. This ride expanded a little bit off of New Texas Giant, including an inversion and even more intense ejector airtime, especially that insane drop and the other drop off the quarry wall. It may not be the longest ride in the world, but it has really great moments and is overall a highlight of Six Flags Fiesta Texas. I personally would agree that Iron Rattler is the best coaster at the park. Second place goes to Wonder Woman Golden Lasso Coaster and RMC Raptor. Next up, we have Six Flags Mexico, just outside Mexico City, the only Six Flags park in Mexico. The best coaster at this park, according to you guys, is Medusa Steel Coaster, an RMC hybrid coaster. This was, again, one of the earlier RMC models, and it was actually very unique and pioneered a new drop type, being the barrel roll drop. This coaster was the first to feature it, where instead of a traditional drop, you turn into a barrel roll that brings you down to your top speed. This ride is a very unique RMC as it focuses a lot on turns while also having some great ejector airtime moments. Second place is Superman El Ultimo Escape, a Morgan hypercoaster. Moving out to California, we have Six Flags Discovery Kingdom up in Northern California, and you guys picked the best coaster at the park to be Joker, an RMC hybrid coaster. Much like many of the other RMCs mentioned in this video, this ride was originally a ride called Roar, where RMC then came in, changed the layout completely, added inversions, made it much smoother, and we have the Joker, which has great airtime moments, very good inversions, and overall is a fun RMC coaster. Second place goes to Medusa, the B&M Floorless Coaster. And finally, ending out on what is possibly the flagship park of the chain, Six Flags Magic Mountain in Valencia, California. You guys picked the best coaster at this giant park to be Twisted Colossus, an RMC hybrid coaster. Colossus was the original wooden coaster that had a really good reputation of being this huge, awesome ride. However, as it aged, much like all wooden coasters, it got rougher and less easy to enjoy. So RMC came in and turned it into Twisted Colossus, a massive dueling RMC coaster with great airtime moments, and actually featured one of the first Top Gun stall elements. Second place went to X2, an Aero 4th Dimension coaster. Just like that, we have gone through every Six Flags park and what you guys picked as its best roller coaster. Like I said, I haven't been to all of these parks, but it's really interesting to see what you guys believe is the best coaster at each of these parks. There's definitely some common themes of airtime, airtime, and airtime. You guys love airtime, who doesn't? And that definitely makes a ride great. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned for more content coming soon to Hollywood Studios. Goodbye, guys.